A chill wind whispered through the vibrant halls of Asgard, carrying with it an unsettling premonition. Balder, the golden-haired god, the very embodiment of innocence and joy, dreamt a nightmare vivid enough to sear itself into his memory. Images flickered, a chilling tableau of darkness and despair, culminating in a searing pain that stole his breath. Frigga, his ever-watchful mother, awoke bathed in a cold sweat, a mirror to Balder's own terror. The dream, a chilling premonition of her son's death, clung to her like a shroud. Fear gnawed at her, a relentless serpent coiling tighter with each passing moment. Driven by a mother's fierce love, Frigga embarked on a desperate mission. She descended to Midgard, the realm of humans, and with honeyed words and veiled threats, she extracted promises from every element on earth. Fire vowed never to scorch his skin, water swore not to drown him, and even the most lethal poisons pledged not to harm him. Relief, fragile as a spider's web, settled over Frigga. Balder was now, to all appearances, invincible. News of Balder's invulnerability spread like wildfire through Asgard. A wave of euphoria swept the halls. The gods, ever playful, devised a game. They gathered in the courtyard, hurling objects at Balder in a display of light-hearted jest. Swords clanged off his chest, arrows bounced harmlessly from his skin, and flames danced around him without singeing a hair. Balder stood amidst the chaos, a pillar of untouchable perfection. Laughter filled the air, a joyous symphony that masked a creeping unease. Loki, the master manipulator, watched from the shadows, a sly smile playing on his lips. He, the trickster god, reveled in the dissonance. This charade of invulnerability held a flaw, a whisper in the wind he alone could hear. He approached Frigg, his face a mask of concern. Disguised as a harmless crone, he feigned ignorance, cleverly prodding her about Balder's newfound resilience. Through their conversation, Loki learned of the mistletoe, a humble plant deemed too insignificant to warrant an oath. A triumphant glint flickered in his eyes. This was the chink in the armor, the thread he could unravel. With a malevolent glee, Loki vanished from Frigg's sight. He journeyed deep into the woods, where mistletoe clung to the branches like ghostly tears. He plucked a sprig, his touch twisting the innocent plant into a weapon. The air crackled with a dark anticipation as he returned to Asgard. The gods continued their game, their boisterous laughter echoing through the courtyard. Hoder, the blind god of winter, stood on the sidelines, excluded from the revelry. Loki, seizing his moment, approached Hoder, weaving a tale of forgotten camaraderie and the thrill of the game. He placed the mistletoe sprig in Hoder's unsuspecting hand, guiding it towards Balder. Hoder, eager to participate, launched the sprig with all his might. A collective gasp tore through the air as the seemingly harmless mistletoe pierced Balder's chest. A horrifying silence descended, broken only by the choked sob of a goddess. Balder crumpled to the ground, a crimson stain blossoming on his pristine white tunic. The weight of grief slammed into Asgard. Frigg's heart shattered, her desperate pleas echoing through the halls. Odin, the All-Father, his face ashen, surveyed the scene with a terrible understanding. Loki, his amusement curdling into something darker, melted back into the shadows. Frigg, fueled by a mother's love that refused to be extinguished, descended into Hell, the realm of the dead. She pleaded with the cold goddess, offering anything in exchange for Balder's return. Hell, intrigued by the depth of Frigg's grief, proposed a challenge. If everything in existence, living or dead, wept for Balder, he would be allowed back to Asgard. A wave of sorrow washed over the world. Mountains wept tears of stone, rivers flowed with the grief of the land, and even the stars dimmed their light. But amidst the universal mourning, a single, chilling note of dissonance remained. Thokay, a giantess known for her cruelty, refused to shed a single tear. Frigg, hope flickering like a dying candle, approached Thokay. But as she peered into the giantess' cold, emotionless eyes, a horrifying truth dawned on her. Thokay was no giantess, it was Loki, his malicious heart reveling in the continued suffering of Asgard. The revelation sparked fury in the hearts of the gods. They hunted down Loki, fueled by righteous anger. Finally, they captured the trickster god, binding him to 3 colossal rocks. A venomous serpent was positioned above him, its venom dripping relentlessly onto his face. The venom, a searing acid, burned into Loki's flesh, eliciting a primal scream that echoed through the caverns where they imprisoned him. Sigyn, his ever-loyal wife, remained by his side, her heart torn between love and the knowledge of his treachery. With a porcelain bowl, she tirelessly collected the venom, offering him a sliver of relief. But the cycle was unending. As Sigyn focused on emptying the bowl, the venom would accumulate, its torture renewed. Loki's screams would pierce the silence, a constant reminder of his crime and the price he paid. The tremors from his struggles, some believed, were the very cause of earthquakes that rattled the foundations of Asgard. Years bled into centuries. The venom etched a map of agony onto Loki's face, a grotesque counterpoint to his former mischievous charm. Yet, a spark of defiance remained in his eyes. He bided his time, whispering dark promises to himself, promises of vengeance against the gods who had condemned him. Meanwhile, in the underworld, whispers of a prophecy began to circulate. It spoke of Ragnarok, a cataclysmic battle that would herald the end of the world. As flames engulfed the cosmos and titans clashed in a celestial war, Loki's bindings would loosen. He would be freed, not out of mercy, but as a twisted instrument of chaos. The prophecy sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest gods. The image of Loki, fueled by centuries of torment and a thirst for revenge, joining the fray was a terrifying prospect. Would he fight alongside the giants who sought to destroy Asgard, or would he carve his own path of destruction, reveling in the world's fiery demise? The answer remained shrouded in the mists of fate. But one thing was certain: the day Loki broke free would be the day Asgard faced its ultimate test. The playful trickster god would be reborn as a harbinger of the apocalypse, his laughter a chilling prelude to the screams of a dying world.